Here at Intoxicated Reviews, we intellectually dissect the art of cinema, scene by scene. Here's some clips.
All he is, it's just a fucking big wooden doll full of cum, chasing kids around.
You look up guys who poop in a bag. Because I think that's where you'll find him. Because he is hurt.
It's probably just in your search history anyway, isn't it?
This movie fucking blows.
So don't forget to subscribe to Intoxicated Reviews on all places you find podcasts. Except Spotify. We're working on it.
Hey everyone, Chris Hansen here of Hansen vs. Predators and Catch Your Predator. Why don't you have a seat right over there and listen to Kyle and Brandon, our podcast. According to my chat logs, Kyle and Brandon have interesting guests.
No, I hated it.
Yeah.
Everybody's sweaty, everybody's on drugs, so they're super sweaty but also touchy, and then they touch your face, then you leave there, and the next day you have pimples.
Fantastic conversation.
He's underground in a lab, floating in a tank of water, because he almost died.
And most important, no predators.
We truly do have fun, don't we, team?
Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
Oh, hey, Internet. Welcome back to the Intoxicated Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah McClellan. This is a comedy variety talk show where I talk to comedians, creators, and characters about the messiness of life. Life's been messy, and I want to thank you all for being patient with me as I kind of took a week off last week and didn't really release a comedy episode for you. But guess what, guys? I'm back at it. This week, I have two returning guests on the podcast. You've heard them both here before. They're both great friends of mine and great comedians here in Halifax. Back on the show is Chris Halef and Kyle Barnet. And these two are just a blast to hang out with. And I figured, what better way to kind of transition back into recording than to just have an easy episode with people I know, can carry a conversation and bounce off each other. So it was a lot of fun. We recorded tonight, and this is the episode. So I'm literally not doing a lot of editing with this one because of the quick turnaround. So I can hardly even remember what all we covered on this. But we did talk about how the guys have been dealing during this lockdown and not being on stage and sort of that transition back into doing comedy again. And we also talked about some relationship and dating stuff. So it was great and just what I needed to get me back into the swing of things. Big thank you to Chris Halef and Kyle Barnett. Check these guys out. And guys, if there's comedy in your city, in your town, make sure to check it out. Here in Halifax, there's still no comedy shows, but it's going to be happening pretty soon, probably sometime in July. So I encourage you, if you're a new listener and you're just kind of getting into this, I talk to comedians a lot on here. I love comedy, even though I'm not a comedian, and I just highly encourage you to support it and check it out when things get back up and running. Cannot say that enough. I am beyond excited to see a comedy show, and I know all the comedians here in Halifax are just itching to get back up on stage. So please keep that in mind and come out to see some live comedy. Gonna keep this intro really quick because I just gotta get right to it. It's freaking late. And this is a standard Rogan length episode, which you know, that's what I do. Do make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. If you really dig it, you can leave an Apple Podcast rating or review. It does really help out the show. Give Intoxicated Podcast a follow on Instagram. You can also follow on Facebook and on Twitter at @in_toxicated. But as always, and what I always say, the best possible thing you can do for the show is to share it with your friends, whether that's on social media or by word of mouth. Spread the word. This is a Halifax-based podcast, and it is focused on comedy, so share the show with the comedy lovers in your life. All of that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this week's episode with Chris Halef and Kyle Barnett.
All right.
Fantastic.
Like, you know what? Brothers?
We're brothers.
Like Siamese twin brothers.
Buddy pals?
Our family both come from the east of
Yes.
in certain
That is true.
Oh, guys, I have a fun thing that I want to start doing, which is starting the episode with, and I'm kind of springing this. I meant to send this to you guys beforehand, and I didn't. But starting the episode with an assumption about one another that's either silly,
Okay.
like just based on what you know of the person. something you would predict or assume about them.
Okay, and what about my something
about like you would do one for me and Kyle, I would do one for. But now
okay.
I'm like having trouble thinking now of one, so we don't have to do that. If we don't
Well,
want
you know what? Like, well, here's what we'll do.
Okay.
We'll let it percolate, and then later in the episode, maybe we'll actually have the idea in our head. You know what I mean? Or we'll be like, oh, I got one.
And by the way, Chris, thank you for using the Word a Day calendar I bought you for Christmas this year. I really appreciate that.
I really appreciate you.
I like the word percolate, and I like the word ruminate.
Ruminate, ooh.
Because I think they mean the same thing, don't they?
It's ruminate is what happens when you have to be in bed by 8 o'clock.
Wait, I don't get it.
Room in a.
Oh, for fuck's sakes!
A word I like using is egregious.
Egregious is a good one.
My favorite talk show host is Egregious Philbin.
Egregious Philbin.
A word I love to use is hysteric. Like
hysteric?
You're being an hysteric. Like just if somebody is kind of losing their shit or something like that.
Yeah.
I've used hysterical. But
hysterical, yeah, but hysteric was like something that like I feel like in sitcoms is kind of like throw it back to Happy Days, but like something like the wife would say to the husband right after like the husband punched a hole in the wall or something like that.
Yeah, classic trope where he just punches a hole in the wall.
Yeah, but it is like husbands were so violent back then. Like they were so angry. Like they wouldn't show them.
On I Love Lucy, there's always a lot of open threats towards Lucy's life. It was always kind of exaggerated. I feel like nice voice crack there, Kyle. I feel like Honeymooners, he was a lot more angry, and then on I Love Lucy, Ricky Ricardo was always just more giving her grief.
I never watched I Love Lucy.
I Love Lucy's great.
Like, you're not like 80, right? So like
not yet, Chris.
Not yet. Yeah. Well, you know what?
Getting up there.
Well, we're almost there.
You know I don't really watch any media before or past 1990, Sarah. What about my demeanor and attitude would suggest I know any current references to pop culture?
Current.
Anytime.
The no neck guy. He's pretty big.
Yeah, only because he looks like a certain comedian that came under fire.
Which we won't talk about. We won't.
No, I mean, like we can. It's just like.
Yeah,
well, I think. I was gonna say I have an interesting point that I'm still
working out in your head.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'll just say it now, just see what you guys think. But I don't personally like that people are throwing around the pedophile term.
I agree.
Because I think that that's a very different thing. While what he did was not cool.
No,
and not right. I don't think it's the same as fucking a child.
I don't. Yeah. Well, yeah, Kyle, you go ahead and then I'll because I do have a bit to say on this actually.
Well, we can. Yeah. We'll bring it up. Let's open the episode. How about?
No, why would we want to do that?
All I'll say on the matter, and we can drop it, is that I think I have 2 words to describe Chris D'Elia, and that is wet end.
Could you also use those words to describe Chris Halef?
Yes.
You can actually, yes.
He is a Chris on this podcast, and he's the only Chris comedian that I care about.
Aw, thank you, buddy.
In the HRM, anyways.
Yes, you're one of 2 Kyle comedians I care about. Kyle Carpenter and Kyle Barnett.
And Kyle, I thought you were gonna say and Kyle Kinane.
Well, no, god damn it, because I said you're one. I was gonna try to make it seem like there was somebody else that I cared about, and you weren't gonna be included. It was gonna be a roast, and I screwed the pooch.
Screwed the pooch. Do you know what wet end means according to Urban Dictionary?
Something pornographic, I assume.
Say that again.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Have you guys ever looked up the meaning of wet end?
No, I assumed it was like a match that got burnt out by water. This match doesn't work anymore, and this person's a burnt match.
No,
Yeah.
it's the swollen, dripping end of a used and tired dick.
Wow. I've never used it for that reason.
No, I just you brought it up on me and Brandon's podcast one time, and I did. I
always thought wet end was just kind of like, somebody's a bit of a
stick in the mud or whatever.
Stick in the mud, like a curmudgeon or something like that.
A wet blanket.
A wet blanket.
A real pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And you brought it up, and I just became obsessed with it and used it all the time.
I know, because I think you can listen to the moment in that podcast where I say it, where your mind starts to go, I like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I like old expressions, like 1950s kind of insults.
Oh, there's nothing better. There's nothing better than a good old fashioned insult.
Insulter. Do you ever watch those like old celebrity roasts from the 60s with like Dean Martin and stuff?
Oh yeah.
They're great. They're fucking great. They're fantastic.
Oh, they're great. I mean, and they're just so quick. I love those roasts because they were friends. I think
that's the best kind.
That's the best kind of roast.
Because like when you're watching one, I think it was Rob Lowe. Jimmy Carter was on there for some reason, and I just never got the connection between him and Rob Lowe.
Yeah, there's not most of those roasts are. I think the only one recently that I can think of that was like kind of friends roasting friends was the James Franco roast.
The James Franco one. I feel like the Bob Saget one.
Bob Saget, yeah, but even then, that was over a decade ago now. When you think of it, holy crap,
so long ago.
But yeah, I like it. Yeah, because when you're not friends with somebody, you can really go hard. Some of the shit they say is so horrific, and I'm like, God damn, dude. I
always wonder about that, because it's interesting. Do you talk to your friends beforehand to figure out what?
There's a Comedy Central committee that fingers in the roasts,
fingers in the cookie jar.
Yeah, in the pie.
That's right.
The proverbial, the old comedy pie that we love to eat.
That we love to snag off of an old lady's window ceiling.
Me and Chris love to travel this great country and take a piece of the comedy pie from each province.
Just so an old chunk of coal like we are can have a thing to eat every now and again.
Me and Chris going from Halifax to Tadamgush to Moncton and back again.
And everywhere in between.
Have you ever
I went to Newfoundland. Not to do stand-up. I've only really done it in the Maritimes. I haven't gone outside of anywhere like Montreal to do stand-up, though I would like to.
Yeah, for sure. I would love
Montreal's like a bucket list stand-up city for me. Yeah, at West too. Edmonton. I want to go to Edmonton.
Oh my God! I hear great things about that scene.
Yeah. Number one thing, it's not Halifax.
Oh my gosh. Well, you guys miss it though. Let's open this fucking episode, you guys. We're back in the Intoxicated Podcast.
Yeah.
It's been a sweet hot minute since I've recorded. But I'm very happy to be here with two buddy pals.
Two of
Halifax's most best looking.
And brightest. we're also incredibly intelligent men.
Smart.
Boy, people are getting really liberal with the use of the word pal these days, aren't they, Kai?
Yeah, just jump in when you think of something funny, Chris.
But we are here with Chris. Halef is here. Chris is back.
Mm-hmm.
And returning guest again, Kyle Barnet.
This is number 3, I think, besides the live shows.
Number 3.
Yeah,
this is only your second, Chris?
No, this is my third. Because I did one with Albert, and now this is my third. We're both three-peats. We're like the Michael Jordan of Halifax comedy when it comes to the Intoxicated Podcast.
There you go.
This is like on SNL when they have a guest return for the 7th time.
I mean, that's just how it's going to be for a bit. I could record with new people, but I like this better, I think, for the most part. Over Zoom, anyway. Interviewing someone you don't know over Zoom is weird. It's different if you meet them at a show and you get a feel for them.
You want to get a little bit of exactly a an idea of who they are. Because if you don't know them and they come to your place and they're like, recording with you, it's just like, well, I don't know anything about you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like seeing people stand up before I record with them. But that said, like, when I first had Brandon Michael on, I had no idea. I had never seen a stand up.
Well, and if you did, you probably wouldn't have had him on.
Not true. Not true, Brandon.
Yeah,
if you're
Chris,
listening.
don't be mean to poor Brandon.
Oh my gosh. But guys, we've been in quarantine for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, what was that?
How have you guys been dealing with these 3 months away from comedy?
Well, I did like a Instagram live show, and definitely the Zoom calls with everybody have helped a lot.
Yeah, the Zoom calls have been off the hook, off the chain.
Yeah. For me, I mean, comedy-wise, I try to write. I'm writing down my thoughts, like just to keep track of them now. And I have a lot of stuff I'm ready to try. It's just, a matter of when stand-up is back. In terms of actually keeping busy, I've had no problem, as you guys know, like with work and all that crap, right? So, but I really miss it. And with the extension of groups, like the increase to 50 gatherings or whatever, I feel like we're going to be back soon.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Such good news today, eh? Oh my Lord.
Yeah, at least sometime like early to mid-July, I'm assuming.
Hopefully early. Like, what are they? I mean, honestly, like maybe I'm just mega impatient, but
maybe it could be just like trying to like get in contact with the bar owners.
That's
Well, I know Catherine is close enough with the Bareleys that it can happen anytime she wants, but like with someone like Dave, it might be a little harder to like strong arm Oasis into doing live shows again.
It's true. And also, like, they are businesses, so they want to make sure if they're going to have like events that require like groups of people to show up, they want to make sure that, I guess, we're COVID free for a while. I mean, we're 9 days straight now.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm excited. I'm happy that I can actually like, see you guys and not have to social distance.
Yeah. That's the important part right there, Chris.
Honestly,
physically
Kyle,
touch.
you know what? It's nothing like a good old fashioned touching your friends, eh, Kai?
Oh my God. That's a clip I'm going to take out of context and post.
Yeah, I love it. I love a good extended handshake and just like holding my friend's hand for anywhere between 7 seconds and 18 minutes.
Oh my God. What about the lingering hug?
Oh, I love the lingering hug.
Nothing like a good old fashioned lingering hug, anytime, like when I see Kyle, I'm going to hug the shit out of him and I'm not going to let him go.
Are you serious though?
Oh my God, dude. Honestly,
absolutely.
Kyle, I'm going to suffocate him.
That's right, because Chris, you weren't okay. So we're gonna catch the people up because a lot's been going on. So one thing I want to bring up for context, because it might be mentioned a bunch of times in this episode. Back at the start of this, when I started debates, I started a group chat, and that group chat has mutated into a beast that we cannot contain.
It's developed a life of its own.
It has a life of its own. It's a shit ton of people. There clearly have been people who have dropped off entirely. And then there's people who are in there all the time talking. And it is just, number one, I'm so thankful for it because it's been great. Like, just to be able to interact with people every day. But it is hilarious to me how you take a couple hours away from it and you come back to like 99 plus unread messages.
Oh God, yeah.
It's far more than 99. Just the other day, like I took a break and then I came back 393 unread messages.
Oh my God. Jesus.
I mean, dude,
that's a Stephen King novel.
It is.
Today's episode is brought to you by a Stephen King novel.
Woo!
I haven't even started this yet. My roommate gave it to me. I was like, sure.
It looks really thick.
And today's podcast also brought to you by Dragon Ball Z.
Oh my God, that's an amazing cup. I was gonna ask if there was a Dragon Ball Z cup. I used to have on my old computer the entire Dragon Ball Z.
Really? I didn't know that you were into Dragon Ball Z, man.
Yeah. I loved it as a
here
kid,
we go.
and I got back into it. And I have it so it's every saga like in its own style. Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah. Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. It's right up in probably my top 3 favorite shows ever of anything. Like my childhood, my teenage years, even college years. I used to watch Dragon Ball Z. It's awesome. It's so fun. I love it.
Yeah.
Man, Chris is just spreading the word.
I know.
You're the one who got Vaughn into it.
Yeah.
Right?
The late Andrew Vaughn. Yeah, I got we talked about it that night. He messaged me and he goes, "I'm already like 10 episodes in. I ordered a Funko Pop or whatever the fuck those things are."
I'm surprised he wasn't into it before, but hey, good on you for getting the word out on that little known series. I'm sure they'll get another season, eh?
Yeah, that's right. Hopefully, we'll see. They got a
gosh.
big
I love
following
how quick he
in
picked that
Idaho.
up.
Oh my God, yeah, he balls to the wall,
Oh God, I hope he finished it. Good Lord, that's not something you want to take to the grave. Not knowing.
I always, what I do think about sometimes is how long Andrew Vaughn would have lasted in the group chat if we put him in there.
He would have been out like day one. Vaughn
would have said something and then left.
Yeah, I feel like who was it? Wasn't it like when Freed started that group chat for the roast or something like that? Like immediately 2 people and I think Vaughn was one of them. He was just like, no, like he just. I think, and I love that about Andrew. He had like a very a short fuse for bullshit or he wouldn't tolerate a lot of guff.
A lot of horse feathers.
Well, yeah, he wasn't really into ruffling feathers.
He wasn't.
I don't know.
Whenever someone says ruffle feathers, I guess there was like a moment on Survivor where someone meant to say that, and then instead they said rustle feathers.
That's fun.
And they got such hell for it.
I'm kidding, Mitch.
But the group chat is awesome and so easy to get just waste hours in it. Not waste. That's the wrong word.
No,
Spend.
Waste is the right word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And boy, if you're not part of that group chat, you're not one of Halifax's it people. You know how we're in the it crowd of Halifax comedy when we're in that group chat.
That's right.
There's an old saying that if you're in that group chat, you've made it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that follows in nice to my next question. Okay, so let's say a couple days from now, there's a mic that's going to happen. And let's say for sure you guys would be on it.
Yeah.
And they gave you the option. You can either bullet or go last. Which one would you pick?
I'll start because... I'll start. Here's the thing. Last, if it's not Oasis.
Yeah.
Because Oasis, it's going to be like 20 people, like 8 of them new. And then by the time they get to the fucking last person closing it out, everybody's just exhausted. So I would bullet there. But otherwise, last at Beerley's or Snigley's or anything like that, for the most part, I like better, but bullet is definitely more of a challenge, So honestly, I don't care, dude. I'll eat a dick as a bullet just to get up there again. So
it's another soundbite I can clip up out of context there.
Yeah, I'll eat a dick.
Nothing
to go on stage. Thank God I got that out.
Thank God, man.
I was curious because I know that Nikki Glazer, she does a daily podcast, and she was she recently did a show in quarantine, and she was talking to her friend about it, and her friend was the bullet, and they were talking about just how terrifying that is after so long to be the person that sets the tone for
I'll bullet.
This is comedy, comedy's back, and everyone's gonna be rusty, but they're the ones that go first, and everybody is watching them.
Well, technically, the host would be the one going first.
True. That's true.
But either way, it would be tough. But I honestly think that I don't know about you, Kyle, but like I think maybe a few shows, like let's say 1 week and you have like 3 or 4 mics that week. I think after like, that week, you're pretty much back. You're like, okay, I've shaken off
the fourth one for sure.
Yeah. I think it's, I mean, like, might have to relearn how to take a mic out of a stand. And
also, like, let's not tell any tales out of school here. My character is like, my onstage persona is already broken and shambled, so it's not gonna seem like I took 3 months off at any point. Let's just be honest. We're not gonna see any difference between my.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing, though?
That's a
good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's what they call in the that's what they call in the business unmarketable.
I don't think that's the case at all, Kyle.
Sorry, my
I think I'm somewhat similar, not like Kyle, but like I'm a little bit more loose on stage, so like it might still be fine for me. But for somebody like maybe a Martin or something like that, short, like very good word economy type of jokes, it might be it might take him a couple of shows to shake off the rust, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, like, you'd have to be silly not to address the fact that it's like, yeah, we haven't done this in so fucking long.
But the thing is, if you are closing out the show, every other person's going to be saying that. So it's almost like,
That's why I wonder about, like, the order thing, because I know that there's, like, kind of a debate going around about, I can ask you guys this, too, about COVID-related jokes. And, like, should you do them? Should you not do them? Like, how do you do them? Is there a way to do them that's not like
I personally plan on doing no COVID jokes at all.
None.
Same.
No, because me and Chris talking about this. I just don't want people to have to like think about COVID because they just fucking got over it. Also, what am I going to add to the table that hasn't been said on Twitter 50,000 times the last 3 months?
God, exactly. I look, if you can do COVID jokes, if somebody wants to get up and do COVID jokes, you can. Like, I would never tell somebody how to do their act, but have an original take on it. The whole like, I loved it. I'm an introvert anyways, or whatever. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah.
I'm with Kyle. Like, I almost think that like when audiences come back, they want to hear. Maybe they want you to address it a little bit, but for the most part, they just want to get over it.
Yeah.
So, like, hey, let's talk about something else.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where if it's done, it has to be done very briefly, like in a joke. Like, whether that's to like set up context, like, because I think about that joke I made that I would like to, if I ever do stand up, I would like to take it to stage.
It's a good joke.
The immediate family bubble and calling
very good joke.
Like, I like that, but there's no way I can get around that without being like, oh yeah, we went through a quarantine and then they introduced an immediate family bubble.
Yeah, it's almost one of those ones. You did it at the time on Facebook, and it was like it was perfectly timed.
Right.
But in terms of like.
Putting it on a stage.
Yeah, putting it on stage like 8 months after, like it'd be like, oh, you remember this? You'd have to do a lot of backstory in order to like, make it work.
That's right.
I don't know. What the fuck do I know?
Yeah. No, I think you guys know a lot.
Yeah.
You've been doing that.
What do I know? None of this matters. I joke about toilet paper and birds. So what do I know?
Fucking joke around about goddamn turtlenecks on white people. Like, I'm not exactly like, a poignant type of act, so poignant. I'm fine with that.
Someone like Travis could get away with it for sure.
Travis, what, talking about that? Yeah, I mean, like, that's kind of like what his whole act is, kind of autobiographical about what's happening in his life currently, and if COVID's happening, I'm imagining he's going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And especially even like all the stuff going on now with Black Lives Matter, he probably has some good stuff too. On that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Travis Gatsby just gets up there and
Travis Gatsby.
Do you guys think that you'll need a lot of time?
That's good, and it's pissing me off that it's that good.
Travis Gatsby. Jesus.
I love you, Travis. It'd be funny to see Travis just come back in a leather jacket with a cigarette, just very, very topical these days.
Do you guys think you'd need a lot of time to prepare a set? Like, let's. No. You just run with it?
I'm already kind of thinking about set lists in a very loose sense.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
I'm kind of like hypothesizing and just like writing down possible set lists because I do plan on working on some old jokes for a project next year. So like I want to start like reworking old jokes. I might have even like I'll work on new material here and there for sure. Like obviously I'm not just gonna do old jokes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But for the first couple weeks back, I definitely want to shake the rust by working on old jokes first.
Yeah, to get that confidence back at the
That's
very
a
least
good
by
point.
doing
If
stuff.
I know this has worked before COVID, then I know it'll work now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kyle. I didn't mean.
No, I was just saying. Then I can throw in maybe a couple new ideas amongst all the older stuff.
Yeah.
Here.
I have a bunch of new stuff that I want to try that I'm going to mix in. Like, my thing is like my stuff is a little not longer form, but a little bit longer than an Albert Coombs type of joke. So like I can only go up with like 5 bits at a time, and that takes me to about 7 minutes. So I might throw like 1 or 2 new bits in there. But the stuff that I'm doing, that I plan on doing that's new, I'm going to mix it in with stuff that's old that has the same type of theme. I want to get back and do things that have more of a running theme. Like I want my set to have more of an arc as opposed to being non sequitur and like just switching topics abruptly, because I think Kyle and Albert do that greatly. Like greatly. I don't even know if that's a fucking word, but like I think they do that great. I think that that non sequitur stuff, but it doesn't really work for me personally.
Look at your big words. What was that word you used?
Non
sequitur and greatly. That's okay. We know English is your first language, anyways.
Anyways, I still believe in love. I just got the joke, you fucking prick.
Yeah, but also like I do want to like maybe try and theme some quicker jokes together.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yours are fairly quick though, aren't they? Generally.
Yeah, they can be. I have a mixed length. Sometimes I'll like just do short jokes, and sometimes I'll do ones that are like 1 to 2 minutes, and sometimes I'll even mix them about however I please.
Yeah, it's like a mixed bag of tricks, as they say.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Kyle goes up there with a duffel bag, and he reaches in and he goes, I got another joke for you right here.
I do have this thing I like doing where I'll take either like my paperclip joke or my old reliable ghost joke and just walk it along as far as possible at the very end of my set. Like I'll just start off with like 4 or 5 quick jokes and take no more than 4 minutes, and like the next 3 minutes are just this like long walk of like an old joke just expanded as far as possible.
Yeah, I know. I love it when you do that. Play around with it and all that stuff.
Just have fun, just explore the world that joke lives in, explore, build a little universe or whatever.
Well, that's what comedy is, Kyle. You and I are like explorers.
Yeah, we're like explorers here.
Yeah, think of it like I'm Magellan, and you're Christopher Columbus or Jacques de Coutier or something.
Yeah.
Like that. And what we do is we're traveling the world to discover new land, but in our case, discover new jokes and hopefully have a few laughs along the way.
That's the point of it, really.
You know what? Honestly, there's nothing like a good old fashioned point of it anyway,
Yeah, love it. It's just like
Jesus Christ.
When you really get into the meat and potatoes of life.
Well, what I was going to say was we were going to try to throw in that at some point during this episode, we're going to talk about assumptions of each other. But yes. I do have a question for you guys, because you guys are buds, or at least that's what you make people think sometimes. What were your guys' first impressions? Each other.
I want to see you go first, Chris, because I know what you're gonna say.
I thought Kyle was a bit of a dick. Like, I wouldn't say a dick.
And how right you are.
We first met at Freeman's back when it was a mic, and Joe Harfouche was hosting that night. I remember I was there. Kyle showed up, and Sam Bartle was also there. And Kyle was super quiet. Like Sam and I knew each other, so we started talking. and Kyle was just very quiet, but like to the point where he was so standoffish, and I don't think he meant to be. I think he was just
yeah.
No, well, hold on one second, Kyle. Hold on. And at one point, I go, "Hi, I'm Chris," and he goes, "Okay, first of all, don't touch me."
Did he really say that?
I said to you, I will both surpass you as a man and a comedian.
It was like 2 sets in at that point. But yeah, and then we proceeded to do comedy in front of, I think it was an Indian family who was definitely not there for comedy, and we all did horribly that night.
This was Freeman's and Fairview.
Fairview, yeah. It was, but that was my first impression of Kyle. I just thought he was just I wouldn't say standoffish. I could just tell he was shy. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't quite remember my first impression outside of like just seeing you for the first time, because I was just getting back into it after a bit of a hiatus, so I didn't really know any of the new people at all, and there was something that's like, I think my only thought, and I never really meant this in any way, and obviously you've gone to prove me wrong. It's like, this guy's a little bit arrogant for a newcomer.
No,
that's all. And you obviously wouldn't prove me wrong.
No, you're right. I don't know. I think that's more of a defense mechanism on my part.
Yeah, for sure.
There's definitely like, if it came off that I was.
Sorry, continue.
No, I was just gonna say, if it came off that I was arrogant or like overly confident, that's just me putting on a front.
Yeah.
Because inside I was like terrified.
Sure, I get that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But then we went on to I don't even know when we started truly becoming close there, Kyle. Like it just
I think like there's a couple shows at Halef that we definitely like. You gave me a drive home one time pretty early on into our friendship.
I remember that, and yeah, because I remember.
I think it was really like just like past like 2018 and 2019.
Yeah, it was definitely probably early 2019, I would say.
Because whenever the Oasis room started happening is when we really started talking. We really got the ball rolling on our friendship, you know?
You know, it really snowballed into a beautiful friendship.
You know, it really we really got into the meat and potatoes of a good relationship.
We got down to brass tacks.
Oh, I love that saying. I love that saying.
Yeah, meat and potatoes? Yeah, me too.
Both.
I don't remember the moment I met
me pulling out a plate of meat and potatoes. I love meat and potatoes.
That's right.
From Anna Ganesh, of course I do.
Classic act out joke.
I don't. Do you guys remember meeting me for the first time? Because I don't remember the moment.
I'll let you start, Kyle. We'll take turns, because last time I started. How about you start this time, and then we'll just keep it going that way.
Definitely Sniggly Wigglies, I think.
Was it?
Maybe. Yeah, I feel like you were hanging out there a lot when we first met.
It's so strange because like you make comedy friends. Like I've made so many comedy friends that like it just feels this is gonna sound cheesy, but I'm just like, oh yeah, they're just always my friends. Like, and I don't remember the moment it became friends. Like,
well, yeah, that's normal.
A friendship.
I couldn't tell you the moment I became friends with. I can tell you the moment I became friends with a couple of my early childhood friends, because that's just you're a child at that point. You don't have a lot of memories, so it's just kind of etched in there.
That's right.
But I think I think I met you at Gus's, and I think you came up to me after one time, and then you told me, "Hey, I'm Sarah, Intoxicated." I think I kind of knew of you, and you said, "Great set." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And then you I think that's when you were like, "Yeah, I'd love to have you do the podcast sometime." And then that's when I.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And then Chris obviously went on to say, "Nope."
Yeah, I said, "Yeah, no." I said, "I'll think about it."
Actually, I do think I met you at Gus's too.
Me?
One time first. Yeah, I remember you introducing yourself to me.
Well, I remember Kyle, you were one that I had heard of before I actually knew you.
Yeah.
It's an award-winning.
No, just in the sense that like you've been around longer, and like I heard the name through the grapevine. I heard it through the grapevine.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that saying.
What a crappy grapevine that is. 3 wilted grapes and
You need to find yourself a new vineyard.
Yeah, one with meat and potatoes.
Hey, call back. Let's get down to brass tacks. Double callback. So here's the thing. I think.
Jesus Christ.
That's the photo right there.
That's the cover. It's meat and potatoes and brass tacks with Chris Halef and Kyle Barnett.
There's your title right there.
We're a
Meat
classic
potatoes.
comedy duo.
Yes.
I'm meat and Chris potatoes.
That's right. Together we are.
I would have put it the other way around, to be
Meat
honest.
and potato. Yeah, I'd say so. Chris is much meatier than I am.
So
Doesn't really matter, I guess.
He's got a thick rump.
Hey, man, like, you know what? Look who's talking.
Hey.
We're having fun.
I'm very excited for this episode because this is like the first ever sponsored episode of the show.
Yeah, it is.
And actually,
Isn't
this
it?
is all thanks to Kyle. Kyle secured.
I got
secured Intoxicated a sponsor before his own podcast.
That yeah, that might be true. I didn't prepare much. But I got a good one.
We have a sponsor.
It took me years to get this. Took me
Dedicated.
18 years. This is today's episode. This week's episode is brought to you by E.G. Greg's Eggs in Bags. Hey, eggheads! Nothing beats being depressed and only eating eggs for every meal. That's why E.G. Greg's is a source for you. These are eggs directly imported from Baghdad for all you egg dads. Get them in a box of 1,000 or 5,000. That's once again E.G. Greg's Eggs and Bags.
E.G. Greg's Eggs and Bags. You really have to
in bags. They come in bags.
In bags.
Are
So
they
you can't be
parboiled?
you can't be like no, they're just fucking raw and ready to go.
Ew.
Well, congratulations, guys. That's a great sponsor to have.
It's very, very fitting because it
took me
seems
months to get.
trashy. And
Took me
it's a trash
2 days to
podcast.
get that.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Kyle.
Hey, no worries.
Is there a discount
That's what
code
I'm
that
here
people
for.
can use to
No, you just got to go in and get them.
Yeah, there's no discount.
no discount
Here's a
code?
discount.
There's no
Hey,
kickback either. There's
give
no
me the
kickback.
eggs. You can say my name. You can say my name if you want. I don't care.
I
You
mean,
probably
like-
won't care.
Tell him
it
Kyle
costs-
sent you.
I mean, it costs
And
Kyle
then,
quite a bit
like-
of money to get that sponsor there. So, like, if anything, you're going to be buying the eggs at a markup. You know, it's going to be more expensive than you would have bought them if it wasn't a sponsor. So,
And you can get a bag of 1,000 for
God,
Yeah.
that's so many eggs. I
Five
do love
cents.
eggs, though. I mean, there's been days where I've only eaten eggs.
They mix up the eggs too. There's different kinds of eggs.
There's
Like
all
what?
kinds of eggs.
There's like eggs that expired 2 weeks ago. There are eggs that expired 3 months ago.
You just don't know?
And there are live chickens in the bag too. So
Oh,
that's
God.
That's a pre-egg. You know, a pre-egg? That's what I call chickens.
That's terrifying.
hold on. Pre-egg, pregnant. Is that why they call it pregnant?
Yeah. Pre-egg.
Pre-egg. How about that? Look at that. Nothing like a good
God.
old-fashioned lesson, eh, Kai?
No, it would be pregnant.
Pregnant. Yeah, that's true.
That's wild.
Do you guys ever hear the expression, I don't know if this is even real or if I just thought of it myself, pregnant with joy?
I think I've
Yes.
heard of that.
Yes, I've heard that.
But I don't know if it's like an expression of happiness or it's just like, oh, I see you're pregnant with joy. And the person's like, yes, my son will be named Joy.
I feel like Joy is more of a female name.
Well,
I
not in
don't think-
2020.
I don't think so.
Maybe
No,
not. I mean, it's a dumb name.
It's wow. Okay, so you know,
But,
Sarah.
you know, babies are, you know what I noticed?
Sarah
you know what I
is.
think?
Do you know why I like my name? It means
why? Because we don't. No, go ahead. I'm kidding.
Because it means princess.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And my middle name is Louise, which means warrior. So put it together. I'm Wonder Woman.
You're a princess warrior.
I'm a warrior princess.
Isn't that Xena?
It's also
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, they're both. I mean, Wonder Woman's just more
Prince.
glam and. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Based upon Greek mythology and certain.
Yeah, Greek and Roman and all that crap. Norse, Turkish mythology, absolutely.
Oh my gosh! Do you guys want to get controversial?
Yes.
Okay, so I've devised some questions that I think I'm gonna start asking, like every episode to people.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one is, what is an unpopular opinion that you have? So this can be.
Let me look at my phone at my
this can be
unpopular
silly.
opinion.
This can also just be silly and stupid.
Yeah, that's true.
I think most of my thoughts are like, here's the thing. If I have an unpopular opinion, I want people to know right off the bat that I haven't thought about it hard. And it's not like I'm married to it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so easy to convince otherwise. But I think I said it on your podcast, Sarah. I think I said something along the lines of people who don't want to have kids are not allowed to have an opinion on anything. You know, it's like
people who don't want to have kids.
Yeah, like, you know, that whole movement of people who don't want to have children. It's like, I don't want to bring a child into this world, and yet they're like the most outspoken person. And I think that's fine and all, but like, I mean, years from now, I think that the left and the right are going to go to war, and if you keep not having kids, the right is just going to keep multiplying because they're fucking like rabbits. And eventually they're going to like have some kind of a bloodbath, and you guys don't have the numbers because you decided to like get your tubes tied. So I think that like, if you want to have an opinion, you got to start multiplying. That's a stupid opinion, but it's one that I have.
It's a real hot take. What do you think about that, Kyle?
Well, I mean, like, Chris, that's an opinion to have, but I don't see you with any kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's going on with that? Why aren't you dialing it up
yet? If that's your opinion, then why are you allowed to have it?
You're right. Dude, like, I'm not married to anything. I don't care. Like, I'm fine.
And guess what?
Changing my mind. And you know what, dude? Honestly, that's what life is all about. Life is all about, like, you know, learning lessons and changing your mind and having new thoughts.
Although I think you are pretty stuck on it, because me and Emma are debating on whether or not we should get pregnant.
Ooh, Emma made her name drop.
Very much against it.
I don't really have any unpopular. Well, you guys see my real unpopular opinions in the group chat every single day.
Oh yeah, there is one unpopular opinion I have before you say it, Kyle. That Emma keeps pointing out that I keep oppressing women's shoulders.
Which, I mean, I'm kind of showing mine off tonight.
Look, and that's disgusting. And I think like you should be ashamed of yourself, is what I think.
This isn't even nighttime slutty.
I'm kidding.
Although I will say, when I grew up in high school, yes,
that's right. Town in Idaho where she grew up.
When I was in junior high and high school, they didn't let girls show shoulders.
Really?
Like, we weren't allowed to wear tank tops. Like, we had to wear t-shirts or like long sleeved.
It's stupid. Like, there's journalists, like female journalists in the city who they're almost not allowed to be sleeveless, if that makes any sense.
Oh, really?
Just stupid. Yeah, I don't understand it, because like they'll wear like these professional like dresses or suits or whatever, but they have like no sleeves. And you know, you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, you know, like that's business casual. But for some reason, like some editors don't allow it on camera, which is so stupid.
Oh, that's
Might give people like me a good Christian boy impure thoughts, and then I'll go straight to Hades.
Straight to Hades. Hades, wasn't he the devil?
Oh, probably. Why would I put thought into that joke, Chris? Have you seen my joke books?
Yes, I have. Kyle, what's an unpopular opinion you have?
Yeah, we need to hear it. Let's get controversial.
I think Simpsons season 15 is not that bad.
See, now this is one that I think that is an unpopular opinion. I get it, but
Because
I don't necessarily disagree or agree with you, but go ahead.
Simpsons season 15 has a lot of really good writing jokes and
Right.
jokes that I find are funnier to a comedy writing mind more than a mainstream mind.
You mean like
It's
a
also-
normal mind, Kyle?
Yeah,
Like
you know what I
not
mean.
like not a comedic genius mind, like someone who
Like
doesn't
a-
know comedy.
Yeah,
Not like you and I, Kai.
I find like if you're like a true Simpsons devotee and you like good just jokes for people that like jokes, between season 14 and 15 have some pretty good jokes. Not great storylines, terrible storylines,
Yeah.
awful characterization, but a really good Christmas episode in season 15.
Okay.
But
Which
I don't
is
mind.
something.
I don't mind season 15 at all. In fact, I would watch it and the entire thing and be pretty satisfied with what I just watched because just a little fun for Kyle. Never heard anybody.
And nothing like a good old fashioned fun for Kyle.
Kyle. A day at the amusement park eating meat and potatoes.
Let's get down to brass tacks for a second here. I think
love
that
brass tacks.
I think I agree with you where, yeah, like some of the later seasons had great jokes. I think that's where they kind of fell off, though, was, and you touched on a little bit right there, was the fact that the storylines were weaker. And I think like the earlier seasons just had so much heart to them. Like when you watch like the episode where Homer first meets his mom and the end of it where you almost want to cry. I feel like that's where the like later seasons lacked, you know? And I feel like that's kind of why I lost touch with it, where if I go back now, I can probably be like, wow, that's a great joke. But like the episode itself wouldn't like impact me as much as one from back in the day. Like, you know, in my opinion, season 8 is the best season they have. I love that season. And I think I looked this up one time, Kyle, like where I kind of felt it cut off or where I stopped watching was probably, I think, the end of season 11. And then season 12 and on, I kind of lost touch.
How many seasons are there?
They're
How
currently in their 33rd, I believe.
Jump-ins. So like I was never a Simpsons fan.
Why'd you say it like that?
I was a Family Guy fan.
Interesting. Kyle, comment?
I think no, I'm not gonna say. I don't know. Family Guy
It
is
was
fucking
just
lame.
more my. I appreciate The Simpsons, but Family Guy was more my sense of humor.
I think
Specifically.
Family Guy's earlier seasons, I sound like such a fucking cartoon snob, but I like the earlier seasons. And then later when it got a little too random for my liking, where it was just be like flashback. Oh, remember that time we did this flashback? And I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
there's good jokes. Like Kyle was talking about The Simpsons, but like, I don't know. It just never did as much for me personally.
I will not go into a public bathroom with a hand dryer and not think of that Family Guy moment where Peter was behind like someone with a turban and he was like, these things never get your hands dry. It's just I always think of that
That is
like
pretty
stuff
funny.
like that, and like when he like injured his knee and he was like
Oh yeah, that's true.
for forever. That kind of inspired the oucha idea that I had when Kyle's
Fucking
cameo in my intro
help.
video. Oh my
That's so
god.
funny.
Oucha. But I also, my unpopular opinion is that The Office isn't a good show. I know.
Really?
I know that that's unpopular. I just never enjoyed it.
I definitely like Parks and Rec more.
Oh, yes. Actually, I forgot to even
I
bring
think
the bell
Parks and
out.
Rec is-
That's a ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
I've never seen Parks and Rec.
Oh,
It's a
Chris, you
phenomenal
gotta. It's so good.
Yeah, I'll get around to. Is it on Netflix?
I don't know.
No, not anymore. It was up until like 3 or 4 years ago, but
Well, then it'll probably be another 3 or 4 years before I watch it.
But I also think it's now becoming popular to not like The Office. So maybe you know what's an unpopular opinion I have? Is actually I posted a poll on Instagram about whether it's worse. What is worse, to be left on read or have someone just ignore your Facebook message, like move it to the ignore folder, in which case like they don't see your messages. They don't respond, like they just don't see it at all, versus someone reading it and then not responding. I think it's worse to be in ignore.
Really?
Yeah.
My anxiety does not like when I see people leave me on red.
But would you get anxiety either way over either scenario?
Well, them just assuming they just haven't seen it yet kind of leads sort of like a Schrodinger's cat kind of scenario. It's like, well, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Like,
but when you're on ignore, you get the white circle with the blue check mark. You know.
Oh, really?
You know they
shit.
have the ability to see it, and they're choosing not to, and that's why ignore is worse because they just like. Being left on red means they saw it and they just didn't want to engage. They just didn't want to engage with you at that time. Being sent to ignore is I don't care at all. And to me, that's worse.
Instagram or Facebook?
Facebook Messenger.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So if you see the white circle with the blue check mark, you're getting ignored.
Oh, crazy. I had no idea.
Unless that person's internet signal dropped somehow. Because that's another reason why you might see that.
Yeah.
I've never had that situation. I'm not even trying to be like cocky. I don't think I've ever. I don't think I've ever like had that situation where I sent a message to somebody and they either flat out ignored me or didn't. It just they'll respond back because I
must be nice, Chris. Must be nice.
Well, no, because like it's not. It's never like. It's never anything serious. It's just me messaging my stupid friends. Like, you know, it's not like
right.
And your smart friend Kyle too.
You've never sent a message that
Kyle Carpenter, yes.
Yeah.
What you're trying to say, Chris, what you're trying to say is you've never sent a message with emotional weight. Have you? Or have you?
I may have sent texts like that back in the day, but never a message on Messenger with emotional weight. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not you know, like, are you talking about something where it's just like you put your heart out for somebody?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I've never done that through Messenger, so I wouldn't know. I've done it through text back when I was younger, but Messenger, no. I mean, the extent of my messages is selfies to the group chat. That's all it is. I love
Chris's selfies to the group chat.
Yeah, I can't think of the last time I sent like a pour your heart out to a person message.
Right. I'm the only pathetic one here.
No, it's okay.
We can move on from that.
I'll probably, you know what, I tend to slip into old habits, so I'll probably end up doing it at some point in the near future, but it's okay.
It's no fun.
Old habits are habits for a reason. Am I right there, Kai?
Ooh, what kind of bad habits do you guys have?
You start, Kyle.
Specifically bad, not just a habit, a bad habit. One that like you're not necessarily proud of.
Oh, okay. I got something.
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, like it's.
I need time to.
Okay, I'll start.
Ruminate.
Because my friend, my friend said this to me earlier, and you know, I'm talking to like anytime I talk to like a girl, like a woman, and it's like you were gonna go on a date or whatever. She messaged me and she goes, "Are you gonna be like emotionally available this time?" Like where like I have this tendency to not be emotionally available or to be kind of closed-minded.
You're an Aquarius. Distant.
Okay.
Are you distant? Would you use the word distant or disconnected to describe?
Let's go back to the unpopular opinion things.
Typical Aquarius here.
Astrology is not a thing. I'm kidding. Look, I don't believe in it, but like if you believe in it, God bless. But here's the thing. To go back to the fucking thing. Yeah, I have this tendency to just be like I'll be warm and then immediately be cold like days later. And it's not through any like kind of thing that the person did. It's just that it's a bad habit I have where I kind of catastrophize in my mind where I'm like, do I want to go down this road and see this person? And then like, I have to be obligated to see them and I have to keep them happy. And I don't know if I can keep them
Can
happy.
I challenge that real quick? Because
No.
I would honestly say, as a friend, you're not like that at all.
That's because like I have, I think Bill Burr said that on Rogan's podcast. I have a crushing need to be liked.
Yes.
And
most comedians do, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I do, but with my friends, I'm different. With my friends, I'll be like, because there's no there's no obligation for me to keep my, like, you guys are my friends.
Right.
It's different when you're in a relationship because that's like, you can really break somebody's heart there.
Well,
right?
And also too, in the early stages, you're trying to put your best face forward. It's not until later in the relationship that you show kind of your flaws or whatever. Or typically
that might be part of it too, where I'm almost afraid to show those flaws.
Could be,
but it could be. But again, like it's just that's a habit I have. I'm very warm in the beginning, and then I sabotage myself and get cold, and that's something I have to break. So when my friend messaged me and she said, "Are you going to try?" and I'm like, you know what? I'm actively going to try this time to not be that way. If there's no connection off the bat, because here's the thing too, I'm pretty good at not faking a connection, but like having a connection and then immediately disconnecting on my own accord. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I'm like, okay, we're connected. They feel it. But then in my head, days later, I'm just like, I kind of like, cool off and I'm like, nah.
I mean, that could just literally be that you're not in this time in your life to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
a serious, you know what I mean? Like, cause you're not like, you're a very caring person.
Yeah.
I would never use the word emotionally unavailable to describe you. Cause like you were one of the first people I called when Vaughn died. Like
what?
You were one of the.
What happened?
Shut up! Oh my
I
God.
thought you were talking about James Bond, not Vaughn. Chris is a very caring person. Why, he only cares if something's free. Anyways, no, I kind of feel that, Chris.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just because being like a dude raised by like a man's man kind of thing.
Yeah.
My dad didn't necessarily show his emotions on his shoulder, and I guess a lot of dads don't.
On his shoulder?
Not on their sleeve or whatever.
On the sleeve, sorry. Yeah, he put his emotions on his physical shoulder. He was a weird dude. I just like, yeah. I don't know. I always tend to assume when I'm like talking to a new person that the problems that I faced in the last relationship are going to carry over. Yeah. I'm just going to keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again, and there's nothing I can do. But
I feel that. I feel
that
a
bunch
hard.
Of hocus pocus nonsense. And
I know that this is like hippie woo woo, but you guys like the attachment styles, or because Chris, what you described about like being kind of close and then distant, that's like avoidant behavior. Yeah. That's what people would call an avoidant attachment style. I have the anxious attachment style, which is if I'm like, Chris, let's say you and I go on a date and we bond and I get emotionally attached to you and then you become distant, that will make me spiral. Like that would make me just be like, you know what I mean? Like it just would not be a good situation. That's why I react such a way when people put me on ignore.
I will be honest, like I probably was like that to some people who had that in the past where I'd be distant and then they'd spiral. And it's not that I didn't care or I wasn't like, I didn't feel sympathy for when I did that and for how they were feeling. It's just that I knew. And here's the thing too. I knew that them dating me was a bad idea. And it was fucking case in point because I shit you not, I can count 5, 6 who I've dated who are now engaged to the very next guy they dated.
Right.
To the very next guy.
You're classic good luck Chuck here.
Yeah, exactly. But like that's, I knew it. And then like it would just happen where it's just like, oh, they found the one. And I'm like, by the way, that fucking makes me happy. But like I knew that, like, dude, it's gonna suck. I know you're attached and you're probably gonna be really sad for a long time, but trust me when I say, you know, like a lot of guys say, oh, you don't want to date me. I meant it. And it worked out. They're like literally, like, one of them I think is already married and like 4 or 5 are engaged, and one's like been with the guy for like 3 years and they're like ready to get engaged. So and it's literally like the very next guy. So
Chris, do you want to go on a date? I'm just joking.
Nope.
I'm just joking.
Chris, do you want to go on a date with me?
I just really want a husband.
We're friends.
Mandate. Well, you know.
No, it's crazy though. Like I tried writing a bit about it and I never really could find the angle, but like I don't understand it. They fucking, well, I mean, I kind of do. I just knew that I wasn't the guy, but like for some reason, the very next guy ended up being the guy. So like, cause they were in a place where they were ready to like settle down and I wasn't. So when they found the next guy who was ready to settle down, they clicked and now look at them. They're great.
Interesting. But it is hard to find someone who have the same intentions as you with dating.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I think that's a big issue is some people date to be casual and to date and to just see where it goes, whereas like other people are really serious about it and like want to be like girlfriend boyfriend status like in a week.
I think
I think
I get that.
Yeah.
If I I need to word this properly so I don't sound like a deranged psychopath.
Too late, Kyle.
If like I've been talking to a girl that I like for like, I don't know, like a month or whatever. I've been talking, hanging out occasionally. As soon as I get that sort of like inkling and like know that like, oh, the feeling is for sure mutual, I tend to make a big show of things too quickly. Like I'll just put on a big show just for the approval of that person because I think that it's way bigger than it actually is.
I get that.
And so it's like ends with me being like, I can do more. Why don't you like me? And she's like, and she goes, next.
She goes,
yes. You gotta find someone who appreciates that bigness, though. Like the, you know?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see.
I think that there needs to be a middle ground when it comes to like what you said, people who are just dating just to see what's out there, and then people who are really serious about it. Like, I'm talking to somebody right now, and she's really, really cool, and we both talked about it pretty much right off the hop, where it was more like she said, like, I'm looking for a relationship, and I was like, yeah, for sure, like, that makes sense, and she goes, but like. And then she put it best. She goes, but like, if a connection's not there, I'm not going to force it. And I'm like, that's the way to be. Look for it, but don't fool yourself into thinking there was a connection when there wasn't.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I just had a date tonight and I have to pretty much tell my matchmaker friend tomorrow, like what I thought. And I had this moment of like, like it was fine, but like, I don't see there being. I could be nice and see him again. I could do that. I could be like, yeah, I'm down to see him again. But honestly, like I know there's nothing there, so why would I be nice and see him again? Why not just keep
your name in the Book of Love?
Keep my name in there. Yeah, I think there's like just this need to like. There's an urgent, especially with women. There's a sense of urgency sometimes that make us feel like we have to settle a little bit.
And I think sometimes though that sense of urgency, and this is not just with women, I think some men have that too, might unintentionally sabotage any potential for actually finding a connection. Like when you're too anxious and too over the top urgent, like I need to find somebody, by doing so you might not find anybody. Like, it's kind of like it I don't want to say repels, but it doesn't really do a person any favors to be that anxious when it comes to such a huge life decision. You know what I mean?
I would agree.
That urgent when it comes to that type of decision where you want to find somebody that you're going to be together with for a long time or whatever. So anyways, what the fuck do I know? I'll just talk about, I'm just an old chunk of coal just spouting off my opinions here.
But I mean, like, I think that's why the ideal way to meet someone is naturally like either that, like, The thing about what makes dating awkward is that you both show up to this thing and the intent is to potentially like one another. And so it feels very weird. And
I can sort of get a sense. I can have I can, and I'm not saying this is like some crazy talent, but I can get a sense of what someone's values are and what they're like, what they like, and like just based on texting and like text conversations first, and then start hanging out slowly.
Probably a good way to do it.
I don't want to just meet someone for the first time after talking for like 2 days.
But I get I have an assumption. I have an assumption about Kyle. I just thought of it.
Oh no.
I would assume that you on dating apps is that you're kind of a one-woman man in terms of if you like someone, you'll talk to one person for a long time and not multiple people. Am I right?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly.
That's my assumption about you. But
That's
I also sense that you're like
thing.
kind of you're a romantic. Would you call yourself that?
Yeah, I have in the past, and I'm not going to not call myself that.
He's a hopeless romantic. Emphasis on the hopeless.
Yeah.
We have fun, don't we, friend?
Hey. Nothing beats a good old-fashioned having fun.
But everyone thinks romance is a different thing. Like, romance can be like as simple as like, I don't know. What do you guys think is romantic?
Like if good old slap on the ass.
You know
you
what
really liked someone, what would you do? This is
a
good question for both of you. What would you do to impress
romantic?
them?
You know what? I don't even think that's it. I think this is love/romance is when you might be seeing somebody and something you did may have upset them and they might get like visibly upset, maybe even cry a little bit. And if you in your head look at that and you go, oh fuck, I really care about them not feeling this way right now. That's romance right there. That's like, I love this person.
Like you want to make them feel better?
Like where you're like, it's not even like I want to like, oh, I want to stop this situation. You look at them and it genuinely hurts you to see them hurt. Where you're like, fuck, like I guess I love them. That's
I like trying to remember things that they mentioned that they liked offhand, even just something like even if it was something simple like if someone told me that they had a soft spot for like something stupid like musical soundtracks or like gummy bears or just something stupid that they like, I love these. I try and remember that specifically so I can use that as a frame of reference for later.
I'm the same way, Kyle. Yes.
Like a cool gift idea, like
that's
get her a box set of a musical soundtrack or something like that, or make her a playlist of musical songs or something. You know what I mean?
That's so
it's not that big.
Yeah, get the Razor's Edge by AC/DC.
I don't like it when couples do cookie cutter gifts, like just like a bouquet of, like, you know what I mean, like bouquet of roses on a card. I'm like, that's so cookie cutter and predictable and boring. Do something
card
different
and
unique.
Bouquet, never.
Yeah, I always get a girl an AC/DC calendar.
Yeah, no, one time I got my girl an SG guitar, just like Angus Young, and gave it to her. There's a lot of AC/DC themed gifts.
Did you really?
No, never.
Okay, you haven't been serious.
That's pretty expensive.
Yeah. No girl. There's nothing any girl loves more than a song about a woman that's being compared to a car that also might be a woman.
That's right. You know, I guess you could say, like, when I find the one I love, I might be a little thunderstruck.
Oh my god.
These truly are the salad days of our lives, friends.
From your lips to God's ears, Kyle.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, I'll plead the fifth on that one, brother.
Hey, nothing like a good old-fashioned chuckle
I would love
amongst
to
friends.
Get like really TMI people on this podcast and actually play Plead the Fifth. Because do you guys know about that game where you ask like
I know
3 questions and you can only plead the fifth to one of them?
Yep.
You can only pass on one of them. I'd like to do that sometime.
I feel like there's some comics in the scene, though, who would not plead the fifth on anything. They'd be like, yeah, no, keep asking.
Who would that be? Who are the most like TMI open, no filter, personal?
I don't know. I can't think of anybody off the top. They're definitely there. They're definitely
I
there.
don't think Scott would plead the fifth on anything.
Yeah.
Wait, can you explain it again? I'm a bit slow. So how does it work?
So plead the fifth is like you'd ask a bunch of personal questions, and they can either answer or plead the fifth to one. So like if I had 3 questions about you, personal ones, like you could only choose one to skip and you'd have to answer the other ones.
I don't. Yeah. Maybe.
Kyle. I feel like
I'm a pretty private person.
Yeah. And you know what? I like that. I kind of like my mystery with my friends.
Yeah. Do you?
I mean, but if I will make it clear if I want to be personal with you, but it has to be. It has to be in a private setting. I can't just,
That's totally fair.
I love doing this podcast, but there's nothing crazy that I would ever reveal about myself. I can talk about my fears of relationships, but I'm never going to talk about my dead father because he's not dead.
Right.
It's all about having
he's alive and well, so I'm never going to talk about my dead father.
It's all about having a silly goose time, eh, guys?
Do you guys have? I realized I just skipped that question, but when you were talking about jokes and working out jokes, and like when you come up with the idea for a joke and you're trying to map it out, was there a joke that you've had that you just could never get to work? Like no matter how hard you tried, you just like botched it. You were just like, fuck it, I can't get it to work.
Oh, like fucking dozens, hundreds. Yeah? Oh my god, there's so many.
How long do you work on it before you say?
It's done or
before like fuck it, I'm not even gonna take this to stage.
No. Like I'll take it to stage, and then if it falls flat like 2-3 times in a row, then what I'll do is I'll take it, I'll pocket it, and I'll try to revisit it later, like when my mind kind of like gets wrapped around it a little bit. And if I try it again like 2-3 more times, it still doesn't work, then I might just fucking forget about the idea. Or like, what I'll do is I'll take the idea and I'll put it in my notebook, and then maybe like a year or two, like when I'm better or when my mind's developed a little bit more as a comic, I might look at it and have a new angle. But
interesting.
I had some jokes like I'm hitting my 6th or 6th year, and there were jokes at like year 2 that just I didn't have the particular voice or skill set to do that I can now do.
Interesting.
I have a new kind of I have a developed persona. It's pretty much who I am as a person as it is, but I have a developed persona on stage that I can say things and get away with saying these things, these silly billy nonsense hocus pocus
poopy
thing.
Pie,
jibber jabber and gobbledygook and whatever.
Just flapping his gums, and
that I'm like, okay, I can say this because it kind of fits with who I am.
Right. That's interesting. I'm always fascinated by like old jokes, like the idea of like an old joke book, like going back.
Well,
and
my joke about speaking Aramaic, that I tried at High Life, like a year before, like twice, and it bombed each time, like because I had a different kind of angle on it, and then I left it, and then later, like a year later, I thought of it again, but like with a completely fresh angle, and then I brought it to stage, and then it started working. So like sometimes it just takes putting it away for a while and then revisiting it later.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, my paperclip joke is the same way.
Yeah.
You know how my deep and personal paperclip joke?
I love the paperclip joke.
That's very close to my personal life and my upbringing, my paperclip joke.
Yeah, your paperclip joke is kind of like Michael Che's Black Lives Matter joke in the sense that it's very personal. It sends a message, which is, when it comes to comedy, it's very important that comedy sends a message, eh?
Jesus Christ. I don't know what kind of messages y'all are sending.
Yes, we're hacks. That's the message.
I would argue even a non sequitur can be personal to somebody because they might have grown up on Stephen Wright or Mitch Hedberg or Emo Phillips, and getting to write jokes like them can mean something to them.
100%.
And that gives its own validity and meaning. It doesn't have to be deep and personal. It just has to have someone's life experiences
Yeah.
of growing up on and loving a particular comedian.
I agree wholeheartedly. I like how like midway through that, Kyle, you realize, oh my god, I'm sounding like such a pompous ass. Even though you're not. It was very nice to see.
Are you guys gonna be nervous as fuck when you do it for the first time?
Internally, but I'm going to do my best not to show it.
Yeah, definitely internally for sure.
Because Kyle, you made a comment about how you get before shows, and that like most shows you get nervous and anxious before.
Yeah, like
Kyle,
what is the one? What Kyle? What's the one thing you always say to me right before like a show at Oasis?
I have so much work to do.
What?
Every time.
I also like to, without naming names, if there's a comedian that I don't like on before me on the list, I'll fucking mutter to myself very wholeheartedly without any irony. I go, I guess I'm on fucking cleanup duty tonight.
Yeah, I feel like.
I don't mean that to be really mean, but it's kind of a fun little thing I can say to Chris in private.
It's fun, but it also has a lot of truth to it.
No one in particular.
No one in particular. But there are times where, like, if somebody's on stage and they might not be having the best set, and you're on next, and you're like, "Oh fuck, I gotta play."
Isn't that good though? Isn't that like a challenge? That's like a good thing, kind of.
Oh yeah, it's a challenge, but it's also tough.
It's not a fun challenge.
It's not a fun challenge.
It's funny because I'm pretty sure I know who you're speaking
I don't. I'm not.
No, nobody specifically.
A fun challenge for me is like a group of like staunchy old people in the audience. That's like, okay, I'm gonna try and work them to them without having to tailor my material.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it'd be easy just to be like, okay, well, I'll just do these kind of jokes for them because they're dumb old people who are dumb and old and staunchy and don't deserve. And then I'll just be like, well, if I can get them with my unregulated, real like material without having to tailor to anything, without any pandering, then that's a challenge for me.
Yes, absolutely. I think like a good challenge is like getting like a person who's like sitting in the front row to uncross their arms. Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
to uncross their arms, because a lot of times, like if you see that's a telltale sign of if you see a man doing it, that's a telltale sign of a man going, all right, make me laugh. Or like, I'm funnier than this guy or some shit like that. Right. And if you can get them to break, then you're like, okay, I got you.
And the crazy thing is, most of those guys are funnier than me as it is. So
it is an interesting talent and muscle. Just how, and I think we were talking with Sophie Buttle earlier in the chat, but like the ability to how you handle hecklers, number one, but also people who don't respond at all. Like, because my thing is I think a lot of people who are in comedy rely on that instant, like either a smile or a laugh. Like that gives you the little hit of like, I'm doing something right, so I'm going to keep going. But like how people handle just nothing. Like
I just tend to, as hard as it can be, I just try and put it to the side and not let it bother me.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's the best way to do it.
This person might not be laughing, but everyone else is, so why do I do
exactly.
With this person? Like, that's not my business. I'm just probably not going to be their thing, and I just have to accept that. If they heckle me, that's a different story. I fucking freak out like a little baby.
Oh, dude, I'm.
That's okay. It's fine.
I'm on the same page right there. I'm on the same page, especially when it comes to hecklers. I think that, there's like, I mean, so many people, and I'm still new, but like, a lot of us at this stage aren't like Kyle's years in, so he's got far more experience, but aren't
not really saying much.
It's an award-winning comedian and
born on December 27th. You redacted.
Hi, Coast nominated Kyle Barnet.
I say that to people, my friends all the time.
It's the best.
Funny.
It's so good. But some of the people who are early on don't have the skills yet to be able to like properly deal with a heckler. Like I can, and then I can't. Like I'm not there yet when it comes to properly dealing with one. Like there's times where I can, absolutely.
It's
I'm on, but then there's other times where like, you can see that like I'm not even 2 years in yet. Right. So it's just
like, it's really like tying your shoes.
The more you do it,
that's right.
Yeah,
the more.
it's sometimes
There's
you'll
also
get it.
something to be said for like if
Sometimes.
you're getting neutral reactions all the time, like that's kind of boring. It's good to have.
Yeah, when people get neutral reactions, I usually say, "You stink. Give it up."
Because Chris, you kind of talk back to them, don't you?
How so?
But don't
like
you?
what?
I'm just trying to think of the times that I've seen you deal with chatty people.
Oh,
and you
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of make fun of them. Like you kind of throw.
I've seen it. Someone in the audience will start speaking. Chris will go, "Bah, bah, 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 bah." And boy, I laugh and I laugh. I eat my meat and potatoes of laughter, and I just say that is what comedy's about.
Well, let me get down to brass tacks there, Kai. Here's the thing. I think
it's not about the well-written jokes, and it's not about punching up old material or working on jokes or getting the big gigs later on in life, the TV televised gigs. What it really comes down to, if I can get into the meat and potatoes of comedy, is when you get up there and someone talks back to you on stage, and you look in the eye, and you look straight in the eye, and you go, "Bah, bah, 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 bah. You're a little stinky baby. I'm big boy on stage." And I say, that is Chris Halef. That's a stand-up in the goddamned nutshell.
That's and you know what? It's some call it stand-up, others call it art. And that's
as long as you make one person laugh, you will have a fan for the rest of your life.
That's right.
I said that in the chat the other day, and someone was like, "Aw." Like,
was it me?
It was
either you or Emma.
There are times where Sarah, Kyle, and I'll say something in the chat which is totally sarcastic, and you'll react like seriously. You're like, "No, that's not true." I'm just like, "Oh no, Sarah."
I have a bad. I won't lie. This is another reason why I feel like comedy isn't for me, and I'm just an adjacent side piece. But like I don't pick up sarcasm well. Just in life in general, I don't. You'll have to hold the sign that says sarcasm above your head.
To be fair, whenever Kyle and I, start going about our tomfoolery in the chat, whenever we start ruffling feathers, whenever we start horsing around and going for a romp in the hay, a lot of it is inside jokes.
I know.
Only we get. And we do the old nod at each other.
When comics have inside jokes, it's better than when normal people have them. Like I don't. Because you guys make them funny at least.
I don't, because I make inside jokes just for me, and that's like I have a joke in the chat. Here's my magician's reveal. I saw a video years and years ago, and in the middle of it, someone says, "Well, I'm a shopaholic," and I just took that. So now that every time someone's talking about something serious that's going on in their life, I like to say, "Well, I am a shopaholic."
I don't remember you ever saying that.
He said it a few times.
Listen, it's really easy to miss some things in that chat.
Yeah. It's Kyle's equivalent of me sending my selfies. Like, it's just to fucking...
Yeah.
Things are getting too heavy. I just like to break up the...
Kyle and I are similar in that sense, where I feel like you and I both aren't big fans of conflict. So we try to immediately hey, everybody, look at me. That type of thing,
I'm a little stinky baby.
Oh, okay. I have an assumption about Chris.
I don't even remember. How did that become my brand, by the way? Why does everyone say...
I don't know.
Why did everyone pick up on my stand-up as Poopy Baby?
I thought you branded it yourself.
I don't. I like to think
honestly,
I did.
Kyle, you know what? I've never looked at your stand-up or said that about you in any way. Anytime I see you do it, I'm like, I like Kyle. I don't think he's a Poopy Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like me.
Chris, I have an assumption about you.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my assumption about Chris.
What's up?
I just forgot it. I just had it in my head and I forgot it. Are you someone who can stay calm and collected in a crisis?
Yes.
Because I feel like, that's kind of what I thought.
Yes.
Ask me that same question. See what different answer you get.
Well, here's the thing. I'm very calm and collected. Just spitballing an example here. When we did our final guest spots at Yucks, And
forever. Actually.
And Kyle Barnett was up on stage, and some might say he was bombing. And
I could tend to agree.
It was a crisis, I guess you could say. I was just like, this is really bad. The audience is not having it. I stayed calm and collected, and in my head, I was just like, you know what? At least he's having fun.
Honestly,
he didn't bomb. He didn't bomb.
I know, but I will say this to the end of time, and I will die on this hill, or whatever people say these days. If I'm having the most fun out of anybody in the room, if the audience is like not having me, that is a good set.
Right.
Hey, man.
I think if there was a crisis,
I am pretty calm.
Chris you'd probably be calm, and you'd probably take a leadership role. Kyle, I feel like you would shut down with anxiety, and I would freak out with anxiety. I would be the more outward anxiety person, but Kyle, I feel like you would get quiet and anxious.
I've never said anything about anxiety in my entire life, so I don't know where that's coming from.
I
would put on a pair of sunglasses and step in front of Chris and like, Chris, get out of my way. I've got this.
Right after you
I give the old, whenever the person, we're all getting mugged, and I give the person the old 1-2 puncheroo. You know what I mean? Hey, Chris, you jujitsu, am I right, Chris?
Hey, man, that's true. We don't punch in jujitsu, but I see where your head's at.
I do this. I go.
That's not. It's not a thing.
Now. I whip out with my legs.
That's not even. No, there's no striking.
Yes. So
to answer your question, Sarah. Yes. It's weird to say, yeah, I am, but there's been a number of occasions that may have required 911 calls that I was able to kind of be the calm one in the room.
Yeah, I always saw you as that.
Yeah, thankfully it doesn't take a lot of nerves to press 3 buttons on your phone.
Oh my gosh.
I always thought that.
Such a hero, Chris.
You know what? You're giving me the gears right now, Kyle, and I don't appreciate it. I enjoy having a laugh at my expense.
I like me. My kids like me.
Yes.
I just always think about how I would act in a true crisis, like in a like.
Well, that's my assumption about you, and don't take this the wrong way. I think you wouldn't react well at all.
I think what I would do is.
Is that an assumption or just a fact that everybody knows?
I think it's just a fact that we know.
You know what?
I imagine every crisis going the exact same way for me. All my friends are handling it really well, and then I go, I gotta get out of here, and then I peel off, and a dust cloud shaped like me is left behind. And then the dust cloud goes like, the dust cloud's like, hey, I'm not staying here either. And he puts on a little dust cloud fedora and has his dust cloud briefcase and fucking peels out of there.
And the briefcase has an anvil inside of it.
Yeah,
with some TNT for some reason. Yeah.
I think I'd be the type of person to run and not think about where I'm running.
Yeah. What, in a crisis?
Yeah. Like I feel like my fight or flight. Oh, interesting. Fight or flight. What would I be? I'd probably be flight. I'd run away.
I'm a badass.
You'd run in,
bro. I'd fucking run into the belly of the beast.
You'd run
and
into the fire.
I would probably save some lives.
Do you really think that though? Do you think you would?
Absolutely not. Not even close.
Chris, can I make an assumption about you?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kyle.
You're with your girlfriend, your beautiful girlfriend that you have right now. And who walks by, but an equally or even more attractive woman in a tight red dress, blonde hair, flowing in the wind, as blonde hair tends to do in movies and television. Would it be fair to assume that even though you're in front of your beautiful girlfriend Marie, that you go, awooga? And then your girlfriend would hit you, and you go, honey, I was only looking, zzz, your bow tie flies around a million times in a row. Your toupee flies off when you see the beautiful girl.
I'm fucking annoyed.
You have a toupee, right? And it flies off every time a beautiful girl walks by.
I'm fucking annoyed because I saw it coming. I knew what he was. I knew what he was gonna say, and I still laughed anyways. And it's.
And you know what? When you're with your beautiful girlfriend, and
he can't even say girlfriend without cracking up.
And you see a beautiful girl, and your mouth drops so far into the ground that it creates a cash register sound effect.
Yeah, your eyes come out of your sockets.
Yeah, the eyes bug out.
And your heart just beats in the shape of a heart, like a cartoon heart, not even a real heart. And it just beats out of your solar plexus like this as you drool looking at this blonde lady who you just saw while you're with your girlfriend.
I do have a ghost story, though.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kyle.
You have the floor.
And Chris got the ceiling.
And Sarah, you've got the wall. We truly do have fun, don't we, team?
I am.
Okay, Kyle.
Shoot.
I was. Where was this? This was on a vacation. Do you guys know East Hants at all?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
We went to stay at like a campground in East Hants, and in the campground, you could either like use a tent or a camper, or you could rent one of the cabins. Now this was like one of the bigger cabins because my dad was a politician, so he had some scratch laying around, and I in the middle of the night got up to use the washroom, so I of course lit my little candle as I was walking to the washroom, and I see something in the corner of my eye. I'm like, I'm just going crazy. I'm a stupid idiot. And then I go to the washroom. I do my business. I come back out.
What business?
Peeing, and then I go back in because I forgot my candle. And then I blow my candle up by accident, and then I have to go into another room, relight my candle, go back into the washroom, take my candle back out of the washroom, even though that doesn't make sense. And then I come face to face with a blue orb in the middle of the hallway. And how do I react? But by having my skeleton pop out of my skin, and my skeleton's eye sockets even were scared.
We're scared. Did you say anything?
I said, yikes, I gotta get out of here. And then my dust cloud was like, hey, I'm not staying here either.
And then he went to his father and told him what happened. And the father went, ay caramba.
I poured my heart out to you guys.
Did
that never happened.
Do
you wish tell by all the random deflecting and derailing of the story? It never happened.
Do you wish that you had called someone back then?
Oh yeah, someone who's on the phone. I would have called the Spirit Catchman.
Oh, they're like the discount.
No.
Who is on the phone?
Who's picking up the phone?
You know, I'm so glad that it was you and myself, Kyle, who created that, and it was us who did it. I'm really happy that it was you and me who created the whole Spirit Catchman thing, you know, and then people...
I will jump through my screen and attack you physically with jujitsu.
Wait, I have a question. How many Spirit Catchmen are there, and who are they?
Oh. So, there's Peterson, and he's played by Chris Halef. And then there's Stan, Big Stan. He's played by Brandon Michael. And then there's Greggy, and he's played by Albert.
Greggy.
What am I at here? 4?
3.
And 3?
Mm-hmm.
Who is the fourth again?
You said Brandon, Chris, Albert.
There's Kyle Carpenter.
Kyle Carpenter is
Played
in
by
Spirit
Kyle
Catchman?
Carpenter.
Yeah, and then I play the ghost of Ben Franklin. I'm kind of like their wisecracking assistant to their operations, the ghost of Ben Franklin. And there's a hilarious scene in the middle where the Spirit Catchmen are loudly playing some modern rap music. And then I come through the door and they think I'm going to get mad because I'm like an old ghost from the past. They're like, oh, this old guy's not going to like it. And I'm like, hey, could you turn that up? Just because I'm old doesn't mean I don't like rap music. And I start dancing along and everyone starts laughing to the rap music. Oh, Ben. They call me Ben.
Yeah, we call him Ben for sure.
I love a Ben. Never met a bad Ben. Also have never met a bad Lauren.
All right. That's fair.
No, Lauren is not a nice Lauren.
Let me think about that for a second.
Truly. Like, they're all angels.
Lauren Cartwright,
just
of course.
Name dropping.
Yeah, Lauren
Peterman.
Lauren Marie Hoopleton, who is actually my ex-girlfriend's sister. Lisa Marie Hoopleton, who was my ex-girlfriend, whose father is chief of police.
Yeah. We all know that. I feel like someone's going to be listening to this part and be like, what?
They're going to listen to this part and be like, I preferred like when Mitch went off the fucking rails.
Oh my gosh. Well,
we were like talking about serious relationship stuff for like an hour.
That was fascinating.
That's true. Hey,
do you guys
Mitch,
want some ridiculousness?
I'm kidding. I love you.
You want some ridiculousness?
Got it.
I'm going to bring back a little game. Kyle, you might remember this game.
Shoot.
Will you press the button?
Right.
Moral dilemmas.
Are you going to screen share it so we can take a look?
Ooh, that's a good idea, Kyle. But my OBS isn't set up to do that.
What's your good idea for the podcast?
I'm just going to read them. So this is essentially, it'll give you a scenario and you either say that you will do it or you won't. And the first one I have is you become the most attractive person in the world, but you have the most annoying voice and laugh ever. Could you date a really hot lady if she had a really annoying voice and laugh?
Wait. I thought the question was if we would do that.
Right. But I was posing a second question.
Oh, a second question. Which one do you want to know?
Let's do the first one. So would you?
No, because I'm already a fucking drop dead gorgeous man, and I have a fucking milky smooth voice, and I'm not annoying.
Hey, you wouldn't really.
My laugh is very. I'm sorry, Kyle. Let me finish.
Okay, I was gonna ask you a question.
I'm already pretty good looking, and I've got a great voice. So I may not be the best looking guy in the world, but I gotta be like top 12 or something. So like I think I'm good.
Top 12 specific.
Yeah, I think I'm in the top 12 billion. That's not bad though. That's not bad.
That's double the population of Earth.
That's double. Oh yeah. What is it? Is it 7 billion?
6 or 7 billion, yeah. Probably 7 billion now.
And I'd say half of those people are on the McDonald Bridge during.
Yeah. I got to be honest with you guys. I'm sorry I was a little late getting here. I got lost in the parking lot. Turned out to be the McKay Bridge.
Yeah, just leave it. Just leave it in silence.
Yeah. We'll just sit in that.
I can see you rolling your eyes, Kyle.
That's the point.
Kyle, would you press it? Most attractive person in the world, but you have the most annoying voice and laugh ever.
I'd say no.
No. Now, second question, like if there was a really, really hot babe, a really hot dame. What other words?
Ticket.
Hot ticket. A
real hot ticket with a beautiful set of stems.
I thought you were gonna say gams.
Gams, stems, it's all money to me, baby.
Mm-hmm. Wait, but let's say she had really annoying voice and laugh. Would you hit that?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to go first?
Probably. I guess, is there probably option? You know me, I'm indecisive because I don't want to seem
I
shallow.
think probably is more on the yes side.
Yes, yeah.
Wait. Like, is the question whether you would date them or would you
Actually,
just
that's a
hook
good
up?
point. Let's say date. This isn't just a one night stand.
Well, date then probably, and I hate to say, it's just not because, I can't be putting up with a weird voice.
Yeah.
You know, like,
having the Dracula laugh.
Like, and look, dude, I would not put up with a male. I would not put up with a male friend with a weird voice, let alone that. So,
But you're friends with Kyle.
Yeah,
oh, Kyle.
I got a cartoon done. Yeah.
Give her a good roast.
I couldn't do that.
Kidding.
I haven't even written any material. I gotta write.
I'm gonna say that we will not press the button for that one.
Yeah.
And let's see about another one here. You become the most attractive person in. Oh no, that's the same one. Whoops. Oh, actually, we were in the. Yeah, the majority of people would not do that, so that's cool. So you gain the ability to read minds, but this is weird. But
I think I can read Chris's mind right now, and I think Chris needs a coffee.
No, you know what?
Don't.
Okay.
Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee.
You have the ability to read minds, but everyone you read will grow an extra head.
Yes.
Yes. Like fucking like that
That's
has no
hilarious.
Yeah, that's hilarious, and it has no impact on us.
Yeah, what would you rather have? A good day or a bad day?
Whose minds would you read?
To give them an extra head?
Like who would look funny with multiple heads?
Let's say at the same time. 3, 2,
1.
Chris.
Halef.
I was gonna say Mitch.
Honestly, like I would probably want to read the mind of people that I'm curious to know what they're thinking. So probably like, like if I'm around a woman I find attractive or like, I want to know what's on their mind. You know what I mean?
But then she'd have an extra head.
Fuck it.
Would that's more head?
No, I mean, like, I'm not trying to date them. I just want to know what they're thinking.
Oh, okay.
I'm more into the thoughts.
I'm
not
creepy,
shallow.
Chris.
Like, dude, I'm into, like, anything. Like, if she
But
has...
you just said you wouldn't date someone with an annoying voice, so
Oh,
you...
God. Well, because I'm not a fucking animal.
Hey, leave my in-laws out of this.
Oh, here's a hot button question. Ready?
Yeah.
The show Friends will come back for another season.
Nope.
But Joey isn't there.
Okay.
It's a dumb one.
No.
Yeah.
Just no.
Brought to you by the University of Who Gives a Shit.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Yeah, what a stupid question.
Let's see. I want to find a good one here.
Do you want the worst thing about Friends without the worst thing about Friends?
What is that? They're racist? They don't have any black friends?
The worst thing about Friends is it being on TV again, and the worst thing about Friends is, well, really any of them. I think the real friends were the friends we made along the way. You know what I mean?
Aww.
Yeah, honestly, like, you got to think of it like, yeah, all aboard the friendship.
Oh, toot toot.
Well put. That's what we call a tag in showbiz.
Toot toot.
Oh,
toot toot.
God.
Here's an interesting one. I think at one point in the at certain points in that group chat we've talked about everything, but at one point we were talking about languages and what language we would learn.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, so the situation is, you instantly become fluent in any 3 languages you choose, but you can never meet anybody who speaks these languages.
I would say yes.
You'd still want to know?
Learn. What?
You'd still want to learn the languages, even though you can't really communicate with anybody else?
No.
Well, I mean, like, that would...
I learned Aramaic.
Fuck you.
So I never have to speak to Chris again in my...
See, I would have said... Well, I mean, yeah, like that kind of opens the door to like a lot of racist thoughts, or just like, okay, what groups don't I like? Okay,
Aramaic, French, and Pig Latin.
Oh, fucking Pig Latin! That drove me
spoken
crazy.
by my wife's parents.
I said this to Otto one time. I said, yeah, 3 languages. And he like kind of like perked up. It was like French, English, and a whole lot of baloney. A whole lot of baloney.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Okay, are we doing this or not? Are we gonna learn languages or not?
Oh,
yeah,
we're not.
No.
Nah, why would we?
I don't want to seem like a racist. I only want to keep that a secret. I don't want everyone else to know that I'm a racist.
That's right. I'm a deeply closeted racist man.
I'm a deeply closeted racist man.
I'm
racist.
I'm so good at it that you would think that me and Chris are best friends. But we're not.
We're not. We don't get along well at all. It's been known for centuries that the Barnets and the Halefs never got along.
Yeah, because the Barnets went over to Turkey years and years ago, about 7 years ago, and fucking just decimated the Halefs.
Oh my god, I have a moral dilemma based on what you guys thought romantic love was.
Yo, what up, girl?
Which was making somebody happy or and being upset when they're upset. Mm-hmm. So the situation is the person you like would be really happy, but they are dating one of your friends and will be out of your reach.
Oh, damn. So if I'm in a relationship, they're unhappy.
The person you like will be happy, but you can never be with them, and they'll be dating your friend.
Oh, God! Like fuck that! Like I don't give a shit about.
That's what I thought too.
Their happiness means nothing to me if I'm not dating. I have no interest. Like, there's no investment there. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm happy that you're dating my friend. No, if we're not dating, your happiness can eat my fucking dick.
That's true.
Thanks for saying it. I would agree. It's at the end of the day, like we always say those cliche things of like, I just want you to be happy. Just don't date.
Oh no, you know what that is? That's you, and I've done that before. Trying to convince the person who's turning you down that maybe they'll think, well, he might be a good guy. I think I'll take. No, it's just that's what they want you to say, and you're like, okay, cool. They're like, okay, cool. I'll be happy not dating you, and then they just go on with their lives. Type of deal.
That's true.
I'm not bitter about it or anything like that.
No.
Anytime I've ever told an ex that I was still kind of not friends with, but like if I ever told an ex that like I'm happy for them for meeting someone new, I do mean that from a certain place. I just don't necessarily mean that makes me happy. Like because I'm happy for you, just because I'm happy you met someone new, doesn't mean I'm necessarily happy with the whole situation.
Yeah,
it's just like cool. You moved on. That's great for you.
See,
I still need some personal growth.
I'm pretty blunt and just being like, I don't like any of this.
And I don't want to seem like I'm just like, I don't want to seem like I'm just taking some moral high ground. So it seems like I'm the bigger person.
Yeah.
So it's easy to fake that. And it's easy to want to seem like you're taking the moral high ground or want to take the moral high ground. But
we talked about this recently. The high road sucks, but it is the better way.
There is a genuineness to me saying that I'm happy for you, but
yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, buddy. Like, just to kind of talk about what you're talking about, I should clarify. I'm happy, like with the women that I told you about earlier, the ones that I didn't date and they ended up meeting people. I'm happy for them because as much as I care about them and I still like them, I'm friends with a lot of them, I didn't feel those feelings for them. If I felt those feelings for them and then they started seeing somebody else, then I probably wouldn't be so happy about it.
It's better that they ended up with someone that wanted it more.
Exactly.
So they can both have that.
Yeah, I've had that told to me before.
Because if you guys stuck it out, then you'd be way more unhappy.
Oh my God, yeah, dude. The best decision I ever made.
But I can think of all relationships that I've had where it's like I absolutely shouldn't have stuck that out, and I'm glad that I got out of there.
Oh, and I think
you're learning so much about me now. Isn't this nice that you finally get to open up Kyle's brain?
I love it, but also
I don't.
I want to say to the guys, dating or fooling around with a girl who you know likes you more and wants more, the best thing you can do is to fucking end it.
Yeah. You don't want to be in a situation where you like or they like you a lot more than you like them.
Because that's where things get really messy, and that is where you are intentionally making a decision that is prolonging the hurt of somebody that you supposedly care about.
I was in the pretty much same scenario as you were.
I'm coming out of yeah.
This is like probably 4 or 5 years ago now. But like, yeah, I want a relationship, and she didn't, but she kept prolonging it just to keep stringing me along. So she had an option. If all her other options failed through, she's like, "Oh well, I know Kyle's into me for sure.
Yeah,
I don't want a relationship with Kyle, but I know
it's comfort.
If some guy doesn't want to have sex with me, then I know I can just go to Kyle and he'll do it because Kyle's a fucking sap."
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. A few years back, I was in that predicament too.
Yeah.
Were you on what end? What end
I was the one who wanted something and she didn't.
Okay.
In fact, she met somebody else, like while I was seeing her.
Okay.
And so here's what happened. We were seeing each other. I liked her. And then she messaged me one day and she goes, "Hey, I met somebody else." But she was like, "I'm so sorry. I hope we can still be friends." And I just told her, it's just like, I'm not happy about it. I don't want to be your friend. Like, I'm honestly like, this is, of course I'm not happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then like, I think a year went by and I'm on Bumble and I accidentally matched with her.
Oh.
She was on it. And then she messaged me and she goes, "LOL, like, I thought you hated me or whatever." And I'm like, "Oh, this was an accident. I didn't mean to match with you." And then she goes like, "Oh, like you may want to grab a drink and catch up." And I knew what she like. The thing that she had didn't work out.
Yeah.
And so now I was kind of like the backup, like, "Oh, I know Chris."
You're on the hook.
And I told her, I said this to her. It sounds so cheesy, but it's true. I said, "No, I'm good. I'm the same guy who wasn't good enough for you then, and you're just not good enough for me now." And then that's what it was.
Chris, I love that.
And then I was like, you know what? I look, when I burn a bridge, I will burn it. And
you burn to the
reason
ground.
why I was, it sounds kind of petty, but at the same time, like I did have feelings for her.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her. And then to leave me for somebody else while I was seeing her, that's a whole nother thing altogether. So, that's how that happened, and haven't heard from her since, which is
great. And it is so easy to go to the let's try to have a normal friendship.
Well,
you can't be friends with someone you're in love with.
Yeah.
That's if you're in love with someone, they don't love you back. You can't be friends. You gotta sever that shit.
In love is strong in terms of that situation for me, but I definitely had feelings.
Had feelings. Yeah, my situation is like straight up in love. Like have said the words. So I'm like, we can't be fooling each other here and thinking a normal friendship can come of this. Maybe down the road, maybe after space, if we deal with our bullshit separately and independently, and like meet up again years from now, maybe we can be friends. But
it takes two to tango.
It sure does. Because what I was gonna ask you guys for advice on getting over somebody. And what your advice would be.
It's just going to sound cliche, but it's really a time thing. It's really just time. And it's like just having as little interaction as possible. Because
So
God. Well, we've had this discussion before, Sarah.
Yes, I know. And I didn't listen.
It's cutting that person off completely because you need, like Kyle said, time to get over them.
Yeah.
And I mean, in my situation, it wasn't that one, but there was a situation from fucking 2013, 14. I was like in love with this person. Well, maybe again, in love is, I don't even know what in love is, but like, I like this person a lot. I put it out there, didn't, she chose somebody else. And the way I dealt with it was I cut her off of everything and I lost 80 pounds, but like a healthy way. Like Emma and I were talking about this earlier, but I got healthy, from my body. I needed to. And I just I focused my energy into that. I focused into like transitioning into journalism. I quit being an accountant. I made a lot of changes to my life, and that's how I got over it. But like, it wouldn't have happened in like 2 months. It took me a while to get over it. It's like time is a devil of a lady.
But it's like adverting your focus. Like your focus is no longer on a person. It's on like your career, hobbies, like doing better for yourself, getting better for yourself.
I think just for me, it was just not sitting around. And I'm not saying any of you do this, but I'm just saying like, well, not sitting around feeling. I did that for maybe 2 days where I sat around, felt sorry for myself. And then me too. And then I was just like, nah, fuck that. Like go out, do something, be productive. Mm-hmm. Like every day, make a little bit of an effort to better your life. It sounds cliche, but that's what I did, and it helped.
That is actually, Scott McLean sent me a clip of Jordan Peterson on Rogan talking about this and how I'm done with it. What? Scott gets very motivational speaker on me.
No, it's not. It's not Scott. It's Jordan Peterson in particular. But
I go to whatever I want to learn how to be a reasonable person.
Was it Jordan Peterson?
It's probably. Jordan.
I turned to Ben Shapiro, the most reasonable man.
Oh God. Yeah, Jordan Peterson's he's a very polarizing guy. Like when you listen to a clip of him, like in something of that nature, I'm sure like it sounds super reasonable, but he also does have a lot of other thoughts on things that are super questionable.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But I don't know if it's Jordan or not, but there's plenty of people that you can listen to. Like, not to say that like the words that he said were wrong there. I'm sure he said something very poignant.
It was similar.
Yeah,
it was
he is a bit
about
of
making yourself little goals rather than big ones. Like whether that's if you're in a heap of depression, if your one goal is to just do the dishes, do that the next day, do something slightly better or bigger.
Yeah. And I think that's not exclusive to him. I think there's a lot of people who've said that, and it's true. I think just little kind of things where it's just like, I'm going to make my bed, I'm going to clean, I'm going to mow the lawn or whatever.
What a privilege to mow a lawn.
Yeah, dude, mowing lawns. Because I own a mansion, and I make so much money off of comedy, just movies, and just skyrocketing in fame. Like I don't want to get into it. I'm worth $20 million. Here's the thing, like when I mow my lawn, and I got one of those ones that you ride on. I'm not a fucking scum. Like I don't.
My dad's got a ride-on lawnmower.
A push mower. Nah, I'm kidding. I do like mowing the lawn though. When I'm at my parents'.
I gotta tell you, I really hate hearing it.
Do you have a ride-on lawnmower?
No. They have a push one. They have a push one. But it's fun. I like it.
My old man transitioned to a ride-on lawnmower, and it's his like favorite thing in the whole world. But like back when he had a push mower, when I was still living at home, he made me do it once. Freaked the fuck out of me at what a bad job I did, and I never did it again.
That's funny. I like it.
I combated him back pretty hard, and I think that was like, okay, maybe Kyle just doesn't get to mow the lawn.
I do think that lawn maintenance people are one of the most hated. Like, because I sleep late, and when I hear that fucking weed whacker outside of my apartment's also ground level, so I hear it as loud as fuck. And it's so annoying to me.
Well, it's different. It's different when somebody's contracted to like clean up around an apartment, whereas somebody's doing it just around their own home. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And they are one of the most hated people in the world. Lawn.
Parking enforcement also up there.
Lawn maintenance people, minorities, most hated people.
People who speak Aramaic. Yeah, of course.
I didn't say anything about that.
Well, you know what? You said it with your eyes.
Kyle, do we have any more sponsors for this episode before we close out?
No, but I was reading the news earlier.
Do we want to replug Greg Egg?
E.g. Greg's Eggs in Bags? Yeah, I can do that. No problem. Today's episode was brought to you by E.g. Greg's Eggs in Bags. Hey, eggheads. Boy, nothing beats being depressed and only eating eggs for every meal. Hey, Chris.
You said
answer me.
You from your lips to God's ears, Kai.
Do you know what's so great about E.G. Greg's eggs and in bags is, Chris?
No, but I'm sure you're about to tell me.
Why, Chris, those eggs by E.G. E.G. Greg's bag eggs is that why they're directly imported from Baghdad. For all you egg dads, hey, Father's Day is coming up, and what old man over the age of 50 with more than 3 children loves more than a nice egg? Well, you can get him a bag of 300 at E.G. Greg's Eggs in Bags. Hey, Chris.
There you go.
Do you know where they come from? E.G.
Hey, Dad.
That's right. That is the number one import of eggs. Is bag and bagels too.
Boy, this podcast really went off the rails, didn't it?
Anyways, go into the store today. No discount code. Just ask for the eggs. Did I tell you that they're a mix of eggs? Why,
Various
Chris?
expiry dates, right?
Yes, you can get an egg from 3 weeks ago, and you can even get an egg from 4 weeks into the future via a live chicken in the bag. It's not ethical, but hey, it does the job. Where do I get my eggs from? Why, you can get them from E.G. Greg's Eggs and Bags. I don't know how much they cost. I didn't look into it.
Bravo, Kyle.
Best sponsor ever. Guys, this was fun. Thank you both for coming on and being my transition back into podcasting after being depressed as fuck for 3 weeks. So thank you.
Well, you know what? This will probably be, hopefully, knock on wood. That is not
Ouch.
wood. That is...
Why'd you do that, Chris?
I'm so sorry, Kyle. I didn't mean to do that to you. The last thing I would ever want to do is hurt you. But what I was going to say was hopefully this is the last Zoom podcast you do for a while and you can have people in person again.
Hopefully. Can we all do a thumbs up?
No, only me and Kyle.
Oh, okay.
Stay out.
Okay. This is the thumbnail.
Nah, come on, buddy.
We're doing that too?
Yeah, we're doing it. Look at that. We're having fun. We truly do have fun.
Guys, can the listeners follow you anywhere? Not like physically in person down the street, but I mean on social media or anything.
Kyle, how about you start?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Kyle Barnett Comedy Dum Dum.
The longest Instagram handle ever. Every time I tag you, it takes up like...
Oh, yeah, and by the way, dumb is spelled D-U-M-D-U-M.
Oh, yeah.
It's spelled the dumb way.
Yeah. You can just write it, put it on the graphic somewhere, I'm sure. We don't have money for that on the show.
Yeah. Like you can see down here, if you link in bio, Instagram, Chris Halef, all one word. And if you want comedy stuff, go there. I do have a Twitter, but that's strictly for news. So yeah.
And you can see Chris Halef's face on Halifax Noise's Instagram almost every single day.
Isn't that crazy? You know what's actually kind of before we wrap up, that's actually going to kind of like freak me out that if when stand up is back, there's going to be more people who might recognize me and be like, "Hey, aren't you the guy who tells us about COVID-19?" And then I'm on there talking about fluffers.
I'm assuming when you do those updates, it's just a copy and pasted tweet that you update, right?
I have a template, and then I take the numbers, and then I put them whatever the new numbers are, and then I just tweet it.
Right. Yeah, what Chris does actually is he writes down the numbers, like potential numbers, and he puts them in like a bowl, and he sort of fishes them around, and he's like, oh, okay, today we only have 52 cases.
That's what I
Even
do.
Though we've had 0 cases.
My favorite thing is that you put the updates in the chat, so I don't have to do any work. I just wake up and open the chat, and there's an update from Chris.
Oh, yeah, well, if there's like a big announcement like today, I figure that's something that impacts everybody and that you guys would love to know. So I was like, okay, Just so you guys know, you'll be able to hug each other next time you see each other.
I think you're one of the people most excited to hug, Chris.
Oh, that's fine.
Well, what a fun podcast.
I want to thank you both for being such good friends lately, too.
Hey, no worries. Anytime.
Kyle and I have been good friends for quite some time, but we feel all right extending the gift of friendship and gab with our friend Sarah McClellan on Instagram, on Facebook, on antidepressants, whatever it is, all kinds of shit.
OnlyFans.
I'm actually thinking about making one. My friend Frankie has one, and she's like, "You should just do it." And like,
Frankie
and
Muniz?
see if people sign up. And I might just see, because she has like 3 and she doesn't even do anything.
Your
like,
friend Frankie Stallone. Hey, Kyle, did you hear what I said?
I heard. I know. And Chris, I will say this to both of you, to the bottom of my heart, as friends and comedians and podcast hosts and radio hosts. You are the most consistent in the city, and from the bottom of my heart. I never liked any of you. The old Don Rickles.
Oh, listeners, you need to check out Kyle and Brandon, our podcast. You hear the ad every week anyway, but I'm plugging it again.
And, I did 2 episodes with them. Listen to those and none of the other ones.
They did an Intoxicated Takeover?
And I don't know for sure, but I think we'll be starting to do it again.
Yeah.
We got a couple ideas and projects in the works. We'll hopefully putting out soon.
Fuck yeah. I'm excited for things to just get back rolling. Like, let's just fucking do this summer, right?
I'm just excited to get back into the meat and potatoes of things. That's what I'm excited about.
Baba booey.
Well, that's it. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week. And we're going to pretend, I'm going to put this here. We're going to get you guys to pretend to ring a bell. This bell.
Okay.
Like
Okay,
idiots. We're going to look like idiots here. 1, 2, 3, go. Ring that bell.
Ding.
Ding.